Howdy folks, this is Rob with MTG Investor, and we are going to finish off our modern top 25 investments tonight. We're going to go through cards 1 through 5, and I'm probably going to spend a little extra time on this video. It's probably going to be one of my long ones, so bear with me. It also might be a little bit controversial because I'm going to have 2 cards on my list that are banned in modern, and so regardless, I think they're great investments. I'll explain more when I get to them. Don't hate me for it, but they're good, and they may be unbanned eventually in modern. Who knows? We'll talk about that when I get to those. But let's get going on our first card. Our first card, being number 5, is Foil Delvar Secrets. Specifically the foil. I actually have quite a few regular Delvar Secrets. About, I want to say about a year and a half ago. Actually, it's probably been longer than that now. It's right. It was right when Innistrad was still barely legal in standard, so I guess it's been like 2 years ago, somewhere in there. Anyway, I bought 100 Delvar Secrets, regular ones, not foils. And because I was like, this card is getting played in Legacy, this card is getting played in Modern, this card is even getting played in Vintage. So they're commons, and I got a really good price on them. They were dirt cheap. They were on sale. The regular versions were on sale on some website for, I don't know, like 40 cents or something like that. I have it written down in my investment book, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I just straight up bought 100 for like 40-50 bucks, and I was like, and just gonna sit on them for a long time. And the regular versions are selling for, $1.25 on eBay. If you factor in, I usually use eBay prices for most stuff, but also I factor in shipping. So you might find some on eBay for $2.39 or something, but then there's usually like a couple bucks shipping that you need to factor in. So when I factor prices on eBay, I always factor shipping as a byproduct. So anyway, on eBay you can get it for about $1.25. If you go like Star City Games, I think they're about $2 on there. So the regular versions are already up 4 times what I paid for them. So if I spent like say $50 on them, they're now they're worth about $200 or 150, $200, somewhere in there. And I figure maybe one day the regular versions will hit. I don't know, maybe $6-7, and if I got them for 40-50 cents, then that's a big profit. That's a 12 times my investment. So anyway, let's get back to the full version. Got off task there a little bit. So I have a stability of 9 on these guys because it's played in basically the three big formats: Vintage, Legacy, and Modern. It's not played in Vintage that much, but it's really played a lot in Legacy, and it's not played quite as much right now in Modern, but I think there will definitely be a time where it's played more. But Legacy is going to drive its price, and it may fade in and out of popularity in Modern, but its stability is 9 because I don't foresee this card getting reprinted in a regular set. I'm sure it's going to get printed someday in some maybe a versus deck or something like that. Hopefully they'll stick some new art on it, which would be great, like they did the new Mother of Runes. But anyway, so I think its stability is pretty high because I don't foresee a reprint, and if it does get reprinted, I think it'll be different art. So the full versions are usually the safest versions when cards get reprinted, the original full versions. So that's why I have stability pretty high on this guy, and he's played so heavily that people are going to absorb, keep absorbing more foils, and it's going to drive the price eventually once all the foils are out. Because it was a common, it takes a little bit longer for those foils to get absorbed. But the growth potential is really high on this 7, and like I said, it could get a reprint, but I'm not worried if it does because I don't think it's going to get a major set reprint. The full versions of Delvar Secrets right now go for about $10. Now they may be more on other websites, but I think this is a good time to get them. I'm trying to remember what I got mine at. want to say I got mine about 12, so it looks like the price has dipped a little bit. I picked mine up about 4 or 5, maybe 6 months ago, somewhere in there. And the price has dipped. I think I paid a little bit more for them because Treasure Cruise was still legal in Modern at the time. And the whole Delvar, Treasure Cruise, red, blue deck was running around. So the price had spiked up a little bit to 15, I think. But I think they're still really great gets at 12, 15 bucks. So the fact that they've dropped down to 10, I think is a good time to pick them up. I might even consider myself picking them up. But right now, I'm putting money into some other things, which I'll get to on my top 5 list here. There's about, there's really, to be honest with you, there's 3 cards right now that I'm putting the most amount of money in Modern right now. And they're coming up here in the future on this list. So I think what I am looking for is that I am hoping that the foil Delvers will eventually hit about 50 bucks. And that may seem crazy, but this card is an absolute home run staple in Legacy. And as long as it is, this price will increase and increase and increase and increase. Again, the price has dropped $5 in the last few months, but that's just because the Modern deck fell off the map because of the Treasure Cruise banning. But as soon as all the foils are absorbed by the new players and there's no foils just sitting around in binders, the price will start moving on these guys, and they'll go up, 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 up. Like, I looked at Abrupt Decay, and yes, that's a rare, but it's 150. I don't see why Delvar, Snapcaster is 150. I don't see why Delvar can't be a $50, a third, since it's a common, a third of that price. So it's 400% return on investment if it hits that. Even if Delvar doesn't hit $50, even if it hits $30 or $40, that's still an amazing, amazing, amazing price. Now, Delvar's not necessarily legal, but it's not available to reprint it in Modern Masters 2 right now. Innistrad is not up for reprint in Modern Masters. That'll have to be the next Modern Masters. Will Delvar get printed in the Modern Masters 3 in, say, a couple years down the road? It's possible, yeah. But again, I think I'll have a new, some new art on that. So I think my foils from Innistrad are going to be safe. All right. Now, I put the prices on there for the regulars. The regulars are going for about $1.50. I saw them on eBay tonight for $1.25 was the cheapest ones I could find on the sold list. So I usually look at the sold, see what sold in the last 3 months, and $1.25 was the cheapest ones I could find. Commonly, they were $1.50 though, and there was only one that was under $1.50 that I saw sold. And I project the regulars to eventually get to $6. It's going to take a little bit of time because Delvar was so heavily played that there's a ton of them that were hung on to. So, still reasonable in my opinion. I don't think you can go wrong with either one. And I know previously I said I don't like to pick up cheap cards, but if I can get some for 50 cents like I did, and it's eventually going to hit $6, then yeah, I mean, if I stick them on eBay in, 4 Delvar Secrets by 4 times 4 in lots for $6, then bam, 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 and I have 25 lots, then that's $150. So anyway, okay, let's go to the next card. Number 4, which is our first banned card, Deathright Shaman. Now, again, it's banned in Modern. And I think it's probably not going to get unbanned, at least in the near future. I think there's probably about a 20% chance that it might get unbanned in the next, say, 5 years, which is a very low 1 out of 5 chance, which means, as I said, I don't think it's going to get unbanned. It just is in a format that has Fetchlands. It's just a little bit too good to drop that, and then your opponent is forced kind of not to fetch on their first turn, or they're going to give you 3 mana on your next turn, Or you get into situations where you have Deathright Shaman mana wars, where you're tapping and removing a land, and then they respond by tapping and removing the land that you're targeting. And that's not really fun, for the format, and which is why it was removed. Well, one of the reasons why it was removed. Deathright Shaman, in my opinion, might be the best creature in Magic right now. And you might say, hey, that's crazy talk, but I think LSV, Luis Scott Vargas, actually agrees with me, and I think that's what he considers to be the best creature in Magic right now. And different people have different opinions, but I really think he is really extraordinary. His it's not so much his power level, but his versatility. It can be in green decks, it can be in black decks, it can produce mana, it can gain life, it can make your opponent lose life. I mean, it's just so good. So if this were legal in Modern, there would be a lot of rock jank decks out there. So I don't foresee him getting unbanned, but this guy is just too good for me not to stick on the Modern list, just because I think there's a small chance he could get unbanned for a little bit, and then he'll probably go back on the ban list. I'm not saying he's getting unbanned. I'm saying he's probably not going to get unbanned, but I want to put him on here. He will definitely be on my Legacy top 25 list when I get to those. So anyway, let's just move forward. Get over it. He's banned. Get over it. Stability rating 3, and that's because he is banned. So on the Legacy list, the stability rating on him will be much higher. So for this list, which is Modern, then he's going to be kind of low. I don't foresee this guy getting reprinted, at least not in a regular Magic set. He will most likely, I would say he's probably very likely to get reprinted in a Modern Masters. I'm assuming that Wizards is going to roll out Modern Masters like every couple years. They're gonna print some, and I'm gonna start a Modern Masters video series here in the near future, because actually tonight there was the first big spoiling for Modern Masters 2. Previously there had only been like 4 or 5 cards up, but now there's like 21 cards spoiled on the list, and I want to start going over those cards and what I think might happen with the printing of Modern Masters 2 and the future of Modern format. Anyway, the growth potential on this guy is 9, because he is going to be in tons and tons and tons and tons of different kinds of decks. He's so good that he, like I mentioned, he's green, he's black, he's either or. He's life gain, he deals damage, or he produces mana. He can act defensively by removing lands from graveyards, which can be really important. And I think he's going to be a Legacy staple for a long time. If he's available in Modern, he will just be ridiculously sick good in Modern. I have 12 total on him, but I really love this card. I mentioned that there was 3 cards that I'm really focusing in on Modern. I really should make this 4, and include Deathright Shaman. I picked up a bunch of play sets of him when he was $7, and he spiked up in price, but now he's fallen back to 7, and I'm just in shock that he is $7 because he's so good. His price is going to go up. I mean, it's going to go up and up and up. He's going to be minimum $35 card, I'm guessing. I don't see how he's not going to be, unless they just reprint the crap out of him. But I suspect he's going to be $35 card. And honestly, I think he has potential to go to $65. I honestly do not see why he should not be, eventually, in time, as valuable as Dark Confidant. And Dark Confidant, in my opinion, is overpriced. He doesn't see a ton of play in Modern, and Dark Confidant really doesn't see that much play in Legacy. I think if you combine Modern and Legacy together, that Deathright Shaman is played way more heavily than Dark Confidant is. And So I think he should be on par price-wise. Now it's going to take time because there's more Deathright Shamans printed than there was Dark Confidants printed, at least right now. Even if you throw Modern Masters 1 in there. But in time, there should be equivalent. They should be equal. And this is all going to depend a lot on how much Modern Masters gets printed. But, we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. So he's got a big return on investment, 400%. Or more. Or way, way, way more. Could be 800%, to be honest with you. So I really love this card. I have several playsets, and I'll just be sitting on this guy for quite a while. I think his price will start moving in the next year. So watching his trend down, I'm just like, I wish I had more money to put in him. But, I have to be frugal with sometimes. Because right now, number 3. These are the 3 cards. Number 1 through 3 are the cards that I'm putting the most money in right now. Is TAS Occur, the Golden Fang, which I didn't put that on there. But anyway, number 3 is TAS Occur. And I love TAS Occur. I've mentioned on several of my videos that as soon as I saw TAS Occur spoiled, I knew immediately that this guy was a rock star. And he is going to be all over the place in so many different formats. And just totally love this card. When he was spoiled, Star City Games had him for $2 or $2.20, somewhere in the low twos like that. And I jumped all over this card. Usually eBay prices will follow Star City Games pre-sale prices. And so I was able to pick some up on eBay. I was able to pick some up at Star City Games. Basically $8 a playset. That's sick good for this guy. This guy's going to be a long-term all-star. I got some Japanese ones. I got some. Maybe they were Chinese. I think they were Chinese actually. But anyway, I got different ones. I bought foils. Bought a full play set. I really want to get another full play set, but I just can't rave enough about these guys. I see. I'm going to give a shout out to MTG Lion because he was saying that I like to watch his videos, and he's a Houston guy, I believe, and so we're both Texas people. And I saw his he did a video a few days ago saying that TAS Occur is a sell right now, and I totally disagree with you, Lion. I'm a big fan of his, but I disagree with him on this one. I think this is a total buy, and right now he's actually, I have $7 on there. That should be $5, so I have to correct that in some editing. But anyway, he's $5 right now. You can get him for $5. That's just between 5 and 6. If you look really hard and you're patient on eBay, you can get them for 5. If you're impatient, you just want to buy them now or something, they're going to be about 6. So $5 to $6, I'm just like, I can't believe that this card is $5 to $6. He should be way more. I foresee this guy going to minimum $35. And the reason why you see like 35 on my TAS Occur and 35 on my Deathright, 35 is like in my mind, from what I've seen on card values, 35 is like where the top end rares creatures kind of move to, and then they kind of they'll either going to transcend that and move up like Dark Confidant or Vendilion Click or Tarmogoyf or whatnot, or they're going to settle in their $25-$35 range. And I think Tarmogoyf actually is going to move up more. TAS Occur is going to move up more. And man, TAS Occur is so great. Essentially, you're getting a 4/5 for a black mana, or a 4/5 for a black and 1, and he has ability on him. So Tarmogoyf. The one thing about Tarmogoyf is if they have graveyard removal, then if they don't get the graveyard removed, then TAS Occur comes out as his 4/5 for 1 or 2 mana. If they remove the graveyard after TAS Occur is in play, then so what? So that actually can help you by his ability, because of his ability. So this guy can be splashed in so many decks, and the only strike against this guy is that He might not necessarily be played as a 4 of in a deck. I see he's getting played in some decks as a 4 of, but usually he's a 2 or 3 of, and that's the only negative. The only con against this guy is that he's usually a 2 or 3 of in a deck. But the thing is, he's so good that he gets splashed in a lot of decks, and I would say he gets splashed in as much or more decks as Tarmogoyf does. So I think there's the possibility of TAS Occur being in a world where he's $100. I think that's a possibility. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying there could be a future where that could happen. If, I had said that in the early days when Tarmogoyf came out, people would have laughed at me, laughed like, ha, yeah, right. If I had told you when Innistrad was out, that Liliana the Veil would be $90-$100 card, you might laugh at me too. So if you're laughing right now at me, just remember, there are these cards that, you would have laughed at them, laughed at me then, but, it's possible. I'm telling you it's possible. So I wouldn't bet against this guy. Now, the price on him has dropped and dropped and dropped. I'm totally in on TAS Occur. I'm totally in on foil TAS Occur especially. Delve cards I don't think are going to see reprints for the most part, unless it's in a Modern Masters or a Versus deck or something like that. I'm big on the foils and I'm big on the regulars, and I'm just big on TAS Occur in general. Okay, let's get to number 2, which is another banned card, and that is Dig Through Time. Now, Dig Through Time is banned, and it was banned with Treasure Cruise at the same time, because basically they said if Treasure Cruise is removed, then people are just going to replace it with Dig Through Time in the blue-red little aggro Delvar Swiftspear deck. And that's probably true. But I think there's a chance that sometime in the future, Dig Through Time has a reasonable chance to get unbanned. I think Wizards would consider unbanning Dig Through Time. I think it's a higher chance than Deathright Shaman. So I put Deathright Shaman at a 20% chance, and that's probably high. To put it at 20% chance, probably more like about 10% chance on Deathright Shaman. But I think Dig Through Time has probably got 30 to 40% chance to get unbanned. So even if Dig Through Time doesn't get unbanned in Modern, Dig Through Time is a staple in Legacy. It's played in Legacy, and I think that because of that, it's going to stay a good card. Dig Through Time will also be on my Legacy top 25 list. I'm just going to tell you up front, it's just too good. Still, stability rating is 3. That's because it's banned in Modern, and for that reason only. It would be much higher, and I don't see Dig getting reprinted in a regular set either. Growth potential on this guy is a 9. You'll notice the 9s on all those cards, bam, bam, bam. Because there's just, it's going to grow and grow and grow. It's one of those cards that gets better over time because it has access to more cards and more future decks that are going to use it. So because of that, it's got huge growth potential. Now, as far as price, right now digs are $5. I cannot believe they're $5. It's kind of like TAS Occur. I can't believe TAS Occur is $5 too. But anyway, $5 on this guy. Should be scooping these up. And like I said, the top 3 cards, number 1, 2, and 3 here, I'm trying to scoop these up because I think these are going to be big players. And it's kind of interesting to me that TAS Occur and Dig Through Time are from the most recent block. And I'm not a big fan of the cons block, but in general, but they have printed some nice, powerful cards that are powerful in a lot of formats. Dig Through Time I see as a future $30 card. Its creatures usually wind up being a little more expensive than spells. Just the nature of the game, it's just the way it is. But Dig is so good in Legacy, and it will get played in Modern. If it gets unbanned, we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't know if it's gonna work out for Dig. Um, I'm also a fan of Dig foils, and the Dig foils right now are going for $20. So I'm a big buyer on those Dig foils, because foil cards and legacy, people who have money to spend cards on decks and legacy, if they're willing to spend $1,500 on dual lands, then they're willing to spend $20 on a full Dig Through Time, and those prices are gonna go up. So anyway, foils are $20. I would be all over those. I do want to just jump back to TAS Occur. I think I mentioned it, but I want to mention that foil TAS Occurs are $25 right now, and the regular foil TAS Occur is $25. When I say regular, I mean the one that's not the promo. The one that has the date on it is the promo. Those are $20. If you want to get foil TAS Occurs, don't get the promo one. Get the regular one. Now, I may eventually be wrong about that, but I know myself personally, and I know a lot of people don't want the date on there, because it used to be, before they were putting them in the packs at the pre-release, that the foils were just common around, and people that want to pimp their decks don't want the ones with the dates on them. They want the regular ones. So if you can, I mean, I'm not saying the full ones, if you have an opportunity to get the promo ones, don't do it. I'm just saying, if you're going to spend the money or the trades, get the regular version. It's $5 more. It may wind up being a big, huge difference in the future. Because, like, if you look at the prominent foils that are like $200 or $300, you might see $300 for the regular foil, and the promo will be like $200. So, $5 now might seem like I want to save $5, but in the future it might cost you $20, $30, $40, $50, $100 if the full goes crazy in price. So I think full TAS Occur is going to be about $100 card eventually, and I think the full Dig Through Time is probably going to be $75 to $100 in time. So before on basically all the cards, of course, number 5 Delvar is a full, the one I'm talking about specifically anyway, but all the fulls on these cards should be good buys. Deathright Shaman, the full on that I didn't really talk about, is $45. So full Deathright Shaman is $45. As I mentioned in the last or 2 videos ago, full Snapcasters are $150. Now, Snapcaster is outshining Deathright right now as far as playability, because it's played in Modern, and heavily in Modern and heavily in Legacy. So it's 3 times the full price. That, of course, it's out of print. It's been out of print longer than Deathright Shaman. Deathright Shaman is a fairly recent out of print. So keep that in mind, that foil Deathrights, I think, are going to hit at least $100, but I really think it's going to go up to about $150 and more. I think, like I said, full Snapcasters, I think I put a price target of $300 on the foils plus, and I said it could hit $500. It's so heavily played. So I think Deathright is going to do the same thing. I think full Deathrights are going to eventually move to $200, maybe $250. So anyway, all right, let's get back to number 1. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show number 1. I'm going to go through some basics of it, and then I'm going to do another video on just specifically number 1, and I'm going to break down the number 1 and to a little more detail and go over a little more than what I'm doing on just this one. So number 1, I hope, is not a surprise to anyone. Number 1 is the Fetchlands. Fetchlands, all versions, Onslaught and Cons Fetchlands. It's the only card I have with a stability rating of 10, and I don't know if it's the only one I have with a growth potential of 10, but it's a 20. It's as good as it gets in investing in Magic cards, in my opinion. I mean, can't go wrong. Fetchlands are played in currently Standard. Fetchlands are played in Modern, Legacy, Vintage, Commander. They're in every single format. You You can't lose with Fetchlands. Specifically on Fetchlands, let me narrow this down. I'm talking about all the Onslaught and Khans Fetchlands. I'm not talking about Zendikar Fetchlands. Let me be very specific about that. I do not advise investing in Zendikar Fetchlands right now, because with Battle for Zendikar coming up in the fall, I feel certain, just saying I can't guarantee it, but I'm pretty certain that Zendikar Fetchlands are going to be reprinted. So I'm specifically talking about Onslaught and Khans of Tarkir Fetchlands. Now, current price on these guys range from $9 to $15. And I foresee these guys going to eventually $25 to $45. So the return on that is going to be 150% or more. And the return on investment on this guy is lower than the other ones on this list. You'll see the other ones are 400 to 500% on return on investment. But the thing about Fetchlands is that they are almost certainly guaranteed, absolutely going to increase in price. And they are so stable. Like, one of the concepts or ideas or strategies in investing in stocks is that you're going to spend a portion or percentage of your money on stocks that are going to be risky. And so you could hit a home run with those, but there's also a reasonable chance that you're going to lose money on those. And they're going to give a percentage of your money to stocks that are very stable, that are going to see a return on investment. The possibility of those being home run stocks is going to be relatively low. Almost certainly they're not going to be home run stocks, but they're going to give you a small return on investment. They're just going to be guaranteed that they're not going to lose your money, okay? And then you might have some mid-term stocks. So there's a lot of different strategies in stock investing, but this is kind of how I look at Fetchlands. They're going to be a certainty to increase in value. They're going to be a certainty to hold their value. I cannot see a world where the Khans of Tarkir Fetchlands, once they've rotated out of standard, ooh, you hear that thunder, we've got bad storms here. Once they rotate out of standard, they're not going to decrease in price. And I'm also talking about the Onslaught ones, which I'm going to break down in the next little video. So they're going to give you a return on investment. And what I'm doing right now, let me just be totally honest with you. The last several months, since the Fetchlands of the Khans of Tarkir Fetchlands have dropped or stabilized in price, I've been buying several playsets every month on eBay. And I'll buy, a handful of playsets. I have a dollar amount that I'll spend each month on just Fetchlands. So I'll buy different ones to reach that. So usually I don't buy only Fetchlands, I buy other things too, but usually I'm spending $100 to $150 a month on Fetchlands alone, just so that I can sit on them for a while. Alright, so anyway, that's what I've been doing. But the thing is, the prices on the Onslaught ones have dipped so low that now I'm looking at getting those instead. So I have Onslaught Fetchlands just from my original collection, but I'm getting more because the price is so low. I'm going to talk about that in the next video. Anyway, $9 to $15 is the price on these guys. They're going to shoot to, I would suspect, $25 to $45. So anywhere from 2 to 3 times their value at least. So anyway, I'm going to stop here because a lot of the information I have is going to be, I'm going to break down the individual Fetchlands in a video that just focuses on Fetchlands. And so we are done. We're done looking at the top 25 modern investments. And you can shoot over and look at my video that breaks down Fetchlands a little more if you like. So I'm not sure what I want to do next. Leave me a comment. Would you like to see Legacy top 25, or would you like to see Commander or EDH top 25, Or would you like maybe to focus on Modern Masters 2 since the spoilers are coming out? Because I want to make some videos on Modern Masters 2. I had a gentleman, trying to think of his name, oh no, I'll have to put it in print, that asked a really good question in the comments about how do I think the printing of Modern Masters 2 is going to affect the value of Modern Masters 1 booster boxes. So anyway, I want to touch on that in a video. So I don't know. This has been Rob with MTG Investors, and I guess I'll sign off here. It's been 35 minutes if you made it all through the video. I really appreciate it. So peace out, guys, and happy trading.